goes on a rainbow. He is the wonderful culture blaster, Michael Snyder. Michael, welcome.
It's me, truly, the most classic Mark Thompson time waster. And I want to also use this opportunity, this opening bit here, to thank all the people in the audience of 30,000 subscribers. I'm so proud of the show and proud of Mark and Kim and Albert and Tony and John Daly and everybody who's contributed to keep this thing growing. And there's no ceiling. We're going to keep on rolling. But 30,000 is a sweet number.
Well, you're part of it, my friend, and thank you for coming here each week. And you've had some great takes, and you've turned us on to some great entertainment.
I appreciate that. By the way, I pay attention to the rest of the show, particularly on Fridays. And regarding the Truth Social stock, I would like to quote Billy Preston. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. There wasn't anything to begin with.
Well, people did make money in the first hour or so, and if they were part of the SPAC, they're part of the primordial ooze that was that stock, then there was money to be made. But you had to flip it fast. You had to get out of it fast, in and out.
I was thinking in terms of Truth Social itself. It was always a worthless thing. It always losing money. It's just astonishing. By the way, again, listening to the show earlier, great to hear you and Michael Shore. I just learned that the EPA has red flagged Carrie Lake as the most polluted body of water in Arizona.
Oh, wow.
Stay away from that lake, people. It's actually toxic. It really is.
And this is their new hoax.
There you
Also,
go.
did you know that researchers have just ascertained the epicenter and source of this rare earthquake in the East Coast tri-state area? It was a suburban neighborhood in northern New Jersey. Apparently, this morning, Chris Christie stumbled while getting out of bed.
Oh, there you go, everybody. And ascertained is a ding word.
And finally, I just got word that indeed the global elite have prepared their giant pet dragon to swallow the sun next Monday. I hope you're all prepared, conspiracy theorists.
It is a conspiracy theory, and just because it's a conspiracy theory, Michael, doesn't mean that there's not a conspiracy.
I know. I agree. Just one more quick note. It is opening day at Oracle Park, and I still feel compelled to call it Pac Bell, as I mentioned earlier. I'm excited about the Giants, the new look Giants, even in the wake of that awful series. They fumbled against the Dogs of Chavez Latrine this week.
Did you think that they fumbled it? Why do you say they fumbled it?
It's difficult.
I mean, they're up against a murderer's row lineup of the Dodgers.
They're shorthanded in the pitching staff.
Logan Webb was chased out after 3.5 innings. That was truly sad.
Our prize starter, but we should have taken one. The band of Orange and Black Warriors should have taken at least 1 out of 3. But I want to say there's so much hope. This refurbished lineup has popped, courtesy of Matt Chapman and the just getting untracked Jorge Soler. The currently depleted pitching staff is going to get a boost from not 1, but 2 Cy Young winners. We're going to get Blake Snell against the Washington Nationals at Oracle Park on Monday. And eventually Robbie Ray will join the staff. And our new leadoff hitter and center fielder, Jung-Hoo Lee, is a potential star.
That's absolutely true.
Love the guy. True. Oh, my God. Anyway, go Giants. I'm never say die, everybody.
William Lundgren loves you called it Chavez Latrine. That's a true Giants fan with that kind of
and I say
animus.
This clearly.
Even as you live in Los Angeles among Dodgers fans.
Yeah, I'm in Los Angeles half the time. I am right now. Anyway, let's get down to movies because that's why we're here. Let's kick it off with The First Omen. Now, this is supposed to be a prequel to the 1976 movie The Omen, which starred the great Gregory Peck as an American diplomat in Italy whose pregnant wife's stillborn baby is replaced by another baby who just may have a satanic lineage. What do you think? Maybe? Huh?
Wow.
That was the actual first movie in a series of them about the coming of the so-called Antichrist. But this prequel's connections are in at least one big aspect counter to what went down in the initial movie. And according to the friend who accompanied me to the screening of the new one, also counter to the book, The Omen, as well. Anyhow, in The First Omen, the colorfully named young actress Nell Tiger Free, that's really her name, hippie parents, maybe? Do you think? Anyway, she plays Margaret, an American who arrives in Rome in the early 1970s and shows up at a convent/orphanage where she's going to take the veil with the encouragement of kindly Cardinal Lawrence, played by UK character actor Supreme Bill Nighy, who we just saw in The Beautiful Game last week, the soccer movie.
Oh, yeah, you like that.
And also under the stern eye of the elderly Sister Silva, played by, are you ready? Sonia Braga, decades removed from the tawny, seductive beauty she was in Kiss of the Spider Woman.
Yeah.
Oh, Sonia. Stay out of the sun, Sonia. Anyway, in a bit of a surprise story-wise, the reserved and pious Catherine rooms with a worldlier and surprisingly wild fellow novice who convinces her to have a last fling at a Roman disco before both of the girls take their vows. That's right. Hard partying nuns. I was like, really? You nuns are going to the disco?
This is wild. Seriously?
Yeah,
They decide to, I mean, this is crazy.
Seriously, what the
It turns out that the night on the town was not such a good idea, nor is Catherine's desire to befriend a disturbed older orphan that Sister Silva and the other nuns keep under lock and key much of the time.
It's one more night out with some crazy nuns.
Right.
And their night out is with the devil.
Seriously, I'd like to avoid spoilers here, but I'm having a devil of a time. Anyway, this is directed and co-written by Arkasha Stevenson. The First Omen is moody and has a few jump scares, and Nell Tiger Free, man, I love that name. She fits the bill as the put-upon Sister Catherine, but it's very clear what's going down very early on, and again, the way it plays out doesn't really mesh with what fans know about 1976's The Omen. Actually, as far as I'm concerned, a better supernatural-ish horror film about an American novice sister potentially victimized at a creepy Italian convent is Immaculate, a variation on the holy versus unholy tale with girl of the moment Sydney Sweeney as none of the above, if you will. And that came out a couple weeks ago and actually was not bad. It's one of those movies, Immaculate. I went into it with, a chip on my shoulder thinking, this is going to be crap. But I honestly preferred it to The First Omen. It's a decent horror movie, Immaculate. And, it may not be a classic, but it's certainly creepy enough.
It's superior to the Omen offering.
It's not a typical satanic scare fest like The Nun or The Nun 2 or The First Omen. And Sweeney's made such a lot of fans from her roles on Euphoria and The White Lotus and the recent rom-com Anyone But You. But she's quite good as the naive Sister Cecilia, who is in over her head at this convent, which serves as a hospice for terminally ill nuns, but is in fact a secret operation dedicated. I can't tell you what it's dedicated to, but anyway, Immaculate is better than The First Omen. I just, I thought I'd compare and contrast considering how similar the films were and how close together they were in terms of their release. But let us move on.
Yeah.
Both of those films are in theaters right now. The first one.
The nuns flirting with the devil seemed to be a rich area to be exploited by these filmmakers.
I'm not saying Immaculate has the same situation going on, but it is a horror movie, and it is set in a convent, and there is a naive nun, and Anyway, let's go down the evolutionary chain for a second. Well, Monkey Man is the first directorial effort by Dev Patel, who was also the movie's star and co-screenwriter. It's ambitious and exciting in its use of folklore, as in the story of Hanuman the Monkey King, a beloved trickster figure in Indian and Chinese myth. I dig Hanuman. And it's thoughtful to a fault when certain plot and casting choices create a measure of confusion. So here's the essence of Monkey Man. With Hanuman as his avatar, a guy only known as Kid and played by Dev Patel of Slumdog Millionaire, The Green Knight, Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, etc., he earns whatever money he can, usually a pittance, as a monkey-masked whipping boy at an underground fight club in a rough urban area of India. So Kid always loses these matches, but keeps coming back for more, because all the while he has an agenda that involves getting revenge on the rich and powerful people who left him destitute and a lone wolf. And as he enacts his plot and his plan to get close to those who ruined his life, bits of his backstory are revealed, and the movie's violent combat ratchets up with Kid and those who stand in his way pummeling the hell out of one another. Although I do have certain caveats regarding some sloppy storytelling, I still want to embrace the verve and the crunch of Patel's movie. It's definitely a passion project. And I'll tell you what, Patel's passion is all over every frame, as is his sweat and maybe a little of his real blood. And no,
It's pretty intense, huh?
Yeah, it's really intense. And I had issues with it. By the way, they do not use the Rolling Stones' awesome track "Monkey Man," a favorite of mine, at any point in the film.
Probably too expensive to use.
Oh, knowing the Stones' bottom line, I'm sure it would have been way too expensive. Again, there are things to Monkey Man, the movie, that make you go, and what, and why, and who, especially when so much of the English dialogue is delivered with pronounced and often indecipherable Indian accents. You start to long for the actual Indian dialogue with English subtitles, because at least you then understand what's being said. So, is it too much monkey business?
No,
maybe.
God.
But Patel has guts and flair, so I do want to see what's next on his plate. And incidentally, this was produced by Jordan Peele, whose creative daring is always on display in his own movies, and he must have felt a kinship with Patel. Monkey Man is in theaters.
Caveat I will ding, and I'll ding verve as well. Well done.
Okay, well written, well directed, and well acted. Scoop is a still quite topical docudrama that covers the BBC Newsnight program's pursuit of an interview with England's scandal-plagued Prince Andrew a few years ago in the wake of his pal Jeffrey Epstein's death. And that would be Prince Andrew, a.k.a. Randy Andy, the longtime bad boy of the royal family, the guy who married and then divorced good time gal Sarah Ferguson, and has been accused of being a perv that indulged in relations with underage girls purportedly procured by Epstein and Epstein cohort Ghislaine Maxwell.
Procured is a ding word.
So on the cast front, we get the wonderful Billie Piper of I Hate Susie, Secret Diary of a Call Girl, Penny Dreadful. She was a Doctor Who companion. She plays Sam McAllister, the Newsnight staffer who tries to convince Andrew's press liaison, Amanda Thirsk, to arrange an on-air Buckingham Palace sit-down between the wayward prince and Newsnight's Take No Prisoners interviewer, Emily Matliss. Emily Matliss is one of those, tough, hard-edged lifers in journalism, and here it's broadcast journalism. So Thirsk is played by the always excellent Keely Hawes, who was in the Durrells and Line of Duty and so on. And Matliss is played by Gillian Anderson, Sex Education, The Fall, and of course the X-Files on her resume. So what we have here is Billy and Gilly and Keely, and they're getting the scoop on Randy Andy, the latter very convincingly played by Rufus Sewell, who isn't the slim pretty boy of past projects in this one. Scoop was co-written by Peter Moffat, creator and writer of Your Honor, the Bryan Cranston TV series, which I loved, and also the Criminal Justice franchise. And it's directed by Philip Martin, who helmed episodes of The Crown, so he knows the Windsor family's peccadillos very well. So the scoop on Scoop, it's a good watch, so scoop it up if you're interested in an inside TV journalism look at the arrogance of the privileged. And guess what? It's on Netflix starting today.
Wow. So you just can go, peccadillo, I'll ding. I do want to ask you, though, the accents, you mentioned some American actors there, and they carried it off without any.
Oh, those the performers in Scoop are all Brits.
Gillian Anderson's a British?
She is British American. She was actually born in the UK.
Okay, but she doesn't speak with a British accent anymore.
She does. It's sort of a melange of accents.
Yeah,
but
melange is a sick ding word. I will. And by the way, ad lib. I mean, some of Michael's stuff, he's written it. It's still coming out of his mind
Well, I have
in
notes.
an ad lib fashion. He has notes, but that was very melange was.
This is how I speak, Mark, for better or worse.
How do you people say sine qua non?
Sine qua non.
Sine qua non.
Yeah,
what does that mean?
I have no idea. Am I a Latin expert? I'm not. I'm just a literate guy. Don't push me into the. I know nothing about liturgy, buddy. I may be a romantic fool, by the way, or I may just like the leads a lot, but I was more positively disposed than negatively disposed towards the fantasy rom-dram the greatest hits. You see what I did there? Rom-drom, like romantic
I
drama.
did. I wish I didn't, but I did.
Have I come up with a new coinage? Probably not. Anyway, Harriet is a cute Los Angeles-based music fancier. This is a movie about a music fancier, and she has a gift and a burden. Songs that were significant in her relationship with a departed boyfriend can actually transport her back in time.
When you
to
say music
specific
fancier, is that
moments.
you mean a fan?
Yeah, well, she loves music. She lives and
she
breathes music.
fancies
She has a
music, all right.
real sense of sound. When she hears a record, she goes, "Oh, the mix on that is wrong." She clearly understands.
Oh, I see. So she's a music kind
Pundit.
fan, I'm going to say.
Well, she's more than a fan, though. She actually, I think, at one point, it's suggested that she works doing studio production and stuff, but she's moved out of that because she's a little unhinged. Songs that were significant in her relationship with a departed boyfriend can actually transport her back in time
Wow.
to specific moments, good and bad, that she shared with him when those numbers were playing. And while there, she might even be able to change how things went, which may or may not impact the relationship she seems to be developing with David, the new guy in her life. Lucy Boynton brings charm and sweetness to the character of Harriet. She's the rising British-American actress from The Ipcress File, and she's been in a number of other good things. David, her present-day love interest, is played with, I would call it, eager geniality by Justin H. Min, who was so good in the recent hip Asian-themed rom-com Shortcomings, which was partly shot in the Bay Area, by the way. And David Corenswet, DC Comics movies' new Superman, is Max, the former boyfriend Ned Benson wrote and directed this bit of fluff, which does have quite a few pleasing needle drops, with Nelly Furtado and Roxy Music among them. Contrary to the title, The Greatest Hits isn't great, but it's an interesting and good-natured take on music and memory that went down easy for me, helped along by Boynton and Min being so darned likable. It is, in fact, in theaters this weekend and streaming on Hulu next week.
Wow. Okay. So that's you like it.
I did.
Yeah. I love the premise. Reminds me a little bit of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
There is a certain aspect to it that you're right is reflective of that. I wish it had been better, but I just, again, the likability of the people on screen, which that's the sort of stuff that sells tickets. That's why The Rock, who's so damn likable, could be in a crap movie and people will still come out in droves. I want to get one more film in and then we're done.
Okay.
I gotta. Housekeeping for Beginners. It's a Macedonian movie about a very unconventional household, and it's probably my top choice among the weekend slate of new releases, which is why I wanted to get to it. So, in a Macedonian town, Sweda, a dying mother of two girls, asks her lover, Dita, a pragmatic woman with very little maternal skill or interest, to promise that Dita will parent the children after Sweda's death. So there are legal ramifications, and they alone are a nightmare, but Dita makes a promise, for better or worse, to honor the wishes of her girlfriend. So there are funny moments, there are tear-jerking scenes, and even some tense escapades in this look at found family that often feels like it's forced family. I don't think Dita was really expecting this. She's in over her head.
I see.
So written and directed by the Macedonian-Australian filmmaker Goran Stolevski. It was the Macedonian entry for Best International Feature Film at the recent Academy Awards. And just for those who may not know, the Republic of Macedonia, a formerly socialist country,
it's nowhere near Australia,
is located in Southeast Europe with Greece to its south and bordered elsewhere by Albania, Bulgaria, Kosovo, and Serbia.
Right, but the director is half Australian and half Macedonian?
Yes,
That's
he
just
is.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay, so the geography lesson is over.
Yeah.
Housekeeping for Beginners stars the terrific Romanian actress Anna Maria Marincha, who was in 4 months, 3 weeks, and 2 days, and in Nico 1988. She plays Dita, who has to wrangle Sweda's two daughters, the precocious, rebellious teen Vanessa and the rambunctious little Mia, while dealing with gay housemates Tony and Ali, and somehow convincing the diffident Tony to act as a father figure. Look, the entire ensemble rocks. If you can navigate the English subtitles in Housekeeping for Beginners, it is a wonderful testament to the power of love and the importance of family in all of its variations. It is, in fact, in select theaters.
Precocious is a thing, and diffident is definitely that.
And yeah, I think we've pushed the envelope here. We'll maybe roll a couple other things over till next week.
All right. I love you for this visit, Michael, and let me just review a little bit of what we've just heard. Housekeeping for Beginners, the Macedonian movie that brings together in an effort to bring together family with disparate interests, and it sounds like a lot of fractured relationships or relationships that are complicated, and maybe she gets more than she bargained for. Housekeeping for Beginners is in theaters. The greatest hits is the music devotee, Lucy Boynton. She's in the film with Justin H. Min, and Michael likes it. He says there's some good needle drops in it, and he doesn't love it. He's not in love with it.
I had issues.
But he sees where it could have been improved. But he thinks it might be worth a watch. Again, Housekeeping for Beginners, which we just talked about, that was the one he really liked of all of these. Scoop is the docudrama about the BBC pursuit of a scandal story. It features Prince Andrew. That's the scandal they're talking about. And he mentions that it's on Netflix now, and he really likes it.
That's the other film this week that I really can stand behind.
Yeah, and so if you want to get inside the way the media in the BBC handled this pursuit of this scandal story, he really likes it. Scoop, it's called, and again, it's on Netflix. Monkey Man is the Dev Patel directed, screenwritten, and starred in offering. Wow, I'm always amazed when guys do that.
I mean, it's flawed, but wow, it really has some, like I said, passion.
Jordan Peele is he in it?
He's the producer. He has nothing to do with the creative end.
But is he in the movie or not?
He is not.
Okay, so again, Jordan Peele producing. I mean, his name gets people's attention. That's why it's on the poster. Monkey is the masked whipping boy in an underground fight club. It's all part of a revenge that he sees, a revenge strategy on the rich people who left him there. And it sounds intriguing, actually. And Michael says, look, it's not a perfect movie. There's some flaws that were pointed out, but maybe worth a watch. Monkey Man.
Impactful, at very least.
Impactful. The First Omen is the movie that we started with, and it is the prequel to the Omen series. It's starring Nell Tiger Free, and for that reason alone, maybe you should,
I love the name.
Nuns to Be, and Nun to Be, Sonia Braga, formerly one of the hottest people alive. Now she's
the withered Mother Superior in this thing.
There you go. And it's a dance with the devil, it seems, on their way
it's
to...
kind of a cha-cha. Actually, they go to a disco, so I think it's sort of a disco dance with the devil.
I don't know. It's an intriguing premise, I have to say. Now, is it scary, The First Omen, or not?
It has its moments. I really think that Immaculate, the movie from a couple weeks ago, which I did have to catch up to, is a better horror movie built around a young American at an Italian convent. Who would have thought these two would come out within 2 weeks of one another?
Yeah, Michael is really a fan of Immaculate more than he is of The First Omen. But
more of a fan, yeah.
If you can't get enough nuns who are making unholy alliances, at least temporary alliances, with the darker side, then maybe see them both. Sydney Sweeney and Immaculate, and then slip on over to The First Omen. Wow, Michael, you've got a lot here. Thank you very much for stopping through.
I think I'm going to hell, Mark.
I know it. I know it.
Speaking of hell, well, one quick note. Booty's 20th anniversary party is at the Cat Club on Folsom this Saturday night in San Francisco. Adriana Roberts, Jupiter Gatling, and DJ Time will be mastering the turntables, such as they are, or the laptops. Oh, my God, it's always a blast.
It really is. Michael took me to one of those a couple times, actually, a couple of them, and really are great. And that's south of Market if you're in San Francisco. I wanted to ask you another question. I can't think of... Oh, I know what it was. Where is your writing being seen right now?
Starting on April 15th, I am now a culture contributor to the new daily online publication, The Voice of San Francisco. And as you well know, I can't be pigeonholed into just one city. I can only be pigeonholed into two cities. That's right. If it's San Francisco or Los Angeles, I'm interested. But as this show also covers the California coast from
Yes, sir.
top to bottom, so will I in the Voice of San Francisco's culture section.
I love it. Can't wait to read the first piece. He comes and goes on a rainbow. Bye-bye, Michael.
Go Giants!
The Culture Blaster. I'm asking you, Albert, could you possibly imagine a better show?
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell, you'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.